Hey everybody, my name is Brandon Scott and welcome to the Fandom Pastor, which can be found on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, or podcast. The Fandom Pastor is for all of us who love our fandoms and our faith. Fandoms are anything that somebody has a deep love for. Harry Potter, Broadway musicals, cult films, to name just a few. Join the Fandom Pastor as we see how God is connected to it all. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey, all, this is Pastor Brandon with our next episode of the Fandom Pastor. This week we start a new series on kind of an unusual topic, cryptids and mythological creatures. Let's be honest, these are very popular. There's books, there's documentaries, there's all sorts of people who have a belief in these things. So the clue from last time is that the name of this creature comes from indigenous Salish language, which means wild men. Now, we are talking about Bigfoot. Now, first of all, I may need to answer the question, what are cryptids? Well, cryptids are animals that some believe may exist somewhere in the wild, but whose present existence is disputed or unsubstantiated by science. I apologize. And again, many say cryptids and other creatures don't exist, but many still believe. And there's always the question, well, do they exist? Do they not? I'm not here to answer that question. What I am here to do is talk about this concept behind uh, the idea and how this connects to our faith. Now, some say, well, of course they exist. We we see evidence. We may not necessarily see them, although there are pictures or videos and things like that. Um, and some say, well, we hear the sounds, or we've seen their marks, or we've seen their influence in the world, but we've never seen one necessarily in person. It's never been captured or anything like that. And, you know, we are the same way. We don't see God. We see God's presence, we see God's influence, but we don't see God. Now, please understand, I am not saying that cryptids are on the same level as God. They certainly aren't. But I'm trying to explain how it's all connected. 2 Corinthians 5:7, for we live by faith, not by sight. We don't see God, but we have faith in God. We see God's influence. We see God's connections to the world and how things move in the background and move all around the world uh, because of God. And we may see marks, just like Bigfoot. We may see a footprint. We may hear God's cry, uh, the sound of God being voiced by somebody else, uh, getting us pointed to where we are called to be a part of. So I just want you to think about that when you say, well, I struggle to see God in this. Yeah, you're not going to see God, but do you see his presence? Do you see his mark? Do you hear the sound of his voice, even though it may be coming out of somebody else's mouth? We need to consider how God moves in the background everywhere. Maybe, maybe just like Bigfoot. Something to think about. So here's my clue for next time as we continue our series on cryptids and mythological creatures. The first account of this cryptid appears in a 7th century biography of Saint Columba. Thanks, God bless, and I'll see you next time.